people here to a chance to kind of hop on in here. So I've been doing this for a couple weeks. It's just kind of a new thing, because I really think that comic books are important. Not just in digital media, but in physical media. I kind of got on a tangent about that last week about, increasing literacy, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but in a lot of ways, comic books in physical form aren't as popular as they used to be. So, you know, being the Gen X kid I am, I'm bringing them back. Um, and so every week, what I'm doing is when I go and get my new comics, I find something that is an issue one. And so that means it's the beginning of the story, or at least the beginning of that storyline. So that way, if people want to check it out, it's not going to be really hard to find. It's not necessarily going to be something really obscure. And so if it's something where, we talk about it tonight and you're like, dude, that's really cool, you can still go and get a copy of it from your local comic shop in most cases. Um, I don't do a lot of your traditional Spider-Man, Superman, Batman comics. I do some indie comics. I do comics that are, I don't want to say not mainstream, but they're not what people think of when you talk about comics. Um, Dynamite is a great publisher, and they have picked up several lines of the Thundercats. And so this one, I actually have two covers of this one, but since the other one is a shiny cover, um, I was like, it might not translate really well when people look at it through the screen. It might get like too much glare because even outside its bag and board, it is super shiny. Um, so let's just go ahead and kind of get to it. I mean, we all grew up with reading Rainbow. We know how this works, right? Um, so this is Cheetara, and this is the first episode, first issue. And there was a part in here that kind of hung me up a little bit, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm lost. How does this apply to the story? Then I realized that it was actually the Johnny Quest #1 sneak peek. So, for any of you out there that are old school comic fans, remember Johnny Quest, used to read Johnny Quest. They are about to bring back a Johnny Quest comic from Dynamite as well. And there is a sneak preview of that in the Cheetara comic. Um, so essentially with this, because of the fact that it is an origin story, it basically starts out with the telling of Thundera, which is where the Thundercats were from, and how it was this great, peaceful, prosperous world that basically they had everything that they needed. They shared knowledge, they had, their temples, they had all of these, you know, amazing structures and just everything they could ever need. And like I said, if you guys happen to, know anybody else that's in the comics before we get too far into this, go ahead and share out my live. Hey, the more the merrier here. I would love to get up to 5,000 followers. That's kind of my goal here. That's my personal goal because I want to know what it's like to be in that crowd. Um, you know, I feel like I've kind of been stuck at like the 42 to 4,500 for a while. And so like, yeah, where my other comic loving Gen Xers at? So here, as you can see, and this portion of Thundera we're familiar with from the cartoon, because that is, essentially the entrance to their lair, after whatever's happened in Thundera. And as you can see here, the way that they've got it drawn out is, it's a city. It's any kind of bustling city you would expect for I don't want to say a older civilization because they actually have quite a lot of tech. It's really high tech versus what you think of when you're looking at these images. Hey there, Lopez Vasquez. Um, so they're talking about, they have all of these resources. They're silver, platinum, and of course, in the lore of Thundercats, for those of you that remember way back when, there is Thunderium, which is the strongest metal. They need it for so many things. Their best weapons are crafted out of it. It's basically the equivalent of like mithril for dwarves. And so they need all of these things, just like every society, anybody that is building anything, you have to have your resources in order to do that. And so with that being said, this is something that's very, very precious to them. And they were very intelligent. And this is something that we saw in the cartoons as well, back in the day. They had a lot of technology, which, like I said, it feels a little bit contradictory to seeing, like villages, but then you've got like flying ships and tech. But we always knew as part of the Thundercats lore that they did have that available. I mean, just in the computer systems that they used to monitor things in Thundera. This is where I got lost right here, because I did not read that line at the beginning that said there was going to be Johnny Quest sneak peek. And next thing I knew, I was like, wait a minute, what does this have to do with Thunder? And I was like, oh, I caught it at the top here that it was Johnny Quest. So like we said, we got a little bit of backstory there. We're going to skip Johnny Quest because I didn't read that part because it was not integral to what I was going to go over today. It then gets to, their places of worship and their shrines and their temples. And for them, it's important that they go and pay homage to these temples. And the reason that they're sacred to them, and they explain to them, is it's about remembering the past in order to move forward into the future. And I think that's something that's, kind of important in everything. We've even talked about it in all of our history books. Hey, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. So for the people of Thundera, and this is before the Thundercats are who they are, there is this sense that you need to know your past in order to know your future. It talks about protecting their legacies through history, which is always really important. And then it gets to the part which I think we all understand and remember, the Sword of Omens, which happens to be laying dormant in the water in the middle of this temple. But they can view it. So it's almost set up like an aquarium setup, so that they can go ahead and see what's going on there. And they're talking about, as long as that is there, then you know that there is peace. Because the Sword of Omens is essentially only to be wielded by the few chosen ones. And those chosen ones are there to basically defend Thundera. And here you start to get into some familiar characters. Hey there, Mia. How's it going today? We are, Cheetara and Yaga are coming back from their temple. Hey, Aloso. And they run into Tigra, who was in the comic. In the cartoon. And kind of like in the cartoon, but this Tigra seems okay. And maybe I need to go back and watch the cartoon a little bit more. This Tigra seems a little bit older than I remember Tigra being in the cartoon. Hey, Matt, how's it going today? And there is some sort of interest between Tigra and Cheetara. It then takes you through, they're walking through the streets, and Jara and Cheetara are returning back, and it brings us a very young Lino. It brings us, we have Snarf, but Lino seems very, very young, and maybe I missed this in the cartoon. Like, tell me if I did miss it. There are hints here that Cheetara is Lino's mother. And like I said, I will not rule out that I missed that all those many years ago when I watched the cartoon. I was a kid. I haven't watched it recently. Maybe I missed that. But then there's also some hints here that this entire section where she's, where Lino is her child. Hey, William, what's going on? Happy birthday, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. So in here, like I said, it talks about Cheetara and that Lino is her son. As you start to kind of go through and read more into it as they're there, they start running into other characters that we're familiar with, such as Panthro shows up. But then as you get to the end of the comic, it ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger that makes me kind of question if all of this wasn't some sort of dream, because Cheetara, and this part I do remember from the cartoon, she does have some like telekinetic psychic abilities. And so there's kind of an indication here that maybe all of that might have been a dream. In the next issue, they're going to talk about the fact that she is betrothed to a specific suitor, but maybe that's not the way she wants to go. Like I said, definitely interesting. Kind of made me, I'm not going to lie, it made me start questioning my memory when it came to the cartoon. So I may have to see about maybe going back and watching a couple of episodes, refreshing my memory. Like, were these things brought up in the cartoon, or did we just never question it? It's possible we just never questioned it. But yeah, so this is issue 1. It's from Dynamite Comics. If anybody's curious about it, it is rated T for teens. So if it's something that you're interested in, like getting for your kids, hey Journey, how's it going today? Then this is definitely appropriate reading for your teenagers or your preteens. But yeah, like I said, I don't recall her being Lino's mother, but I could just be dumb. Like I let me be honest, it was like 30 plus years ago, and I may not remember it all, or I just maybe wasn't paying attention. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, oh, she's his mom. That's cool. But I also remember Taiga in the cartoon being much younger. Like, not Cheetara's age, but like much younger. Or maybe it was just like a portion of feline species that was much smaller. I'm not sure which it was. So that's what we've got for this week. And then, like I said, it does also have that sneak peek of the Johnny Quest preview. You know what? I'm actually going to check something. Does the other one have it? Does the shiny cover have it? I don't know. Let me find out. Typically, yeah. And so that was why. Okay, so I wasn't crazy about that, because here, when they show him here, it might have been before you tuned in there, Will. Let me show you what they're showing Taiga as now in this comic. So they're showing Taiga, because this is Taiga here, as like the same age and size as Cheetara. So that's where I'm a little bit confused. I'm so confused. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're doing alternate timelines. Maybe we got some like flashbacks. I don't know. Right? That's what I'm saying. But this is supposed to be an origin story, so this is supposed to have taken place before the war that left everything in ruins and left them the only ones of their kind. So I don't know. Because like Lino's like little cub, like little Lino. So let me see here. Does this one have the Johnny Quest thing in it? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, it just doesn't tell you it has it. So yeah, so the content's the same in all of them, as it should be. But yeah, we're gonna have to look into that, because like that's gonna bug me. Because that's where I was like, well, hey, maybe. Hey there, Edgar. Hey, like maybe the reason I'm not understanding it is because like it was a flashback, like it was a vision for her. So like maybe she really doesn't know Taiga and Panthro yet. Maybe that was all just part of like a vision she was having. Hey there, Alex. How's it going? Hey there, Edgar. But yeah, because I was like, dude, I don't. And I know in the cartoons, by the time we were dealing with any of them in that aspect from the cartoon series, they were all grown up. they were adults. They were all grown up until they redid the reboot thing and then brought them all back as cubs. I didn't watch the new one. I've only watched the original, and it's been a while. So yeah, we may have to do some research and like check that out because yeah, that was just like it was so bizarre and I was so confused and I was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. You know. So yeah, we'll have to research that though and kind of find out because that and the ending. Oh, I try to forget the remake. The remake was trash. Hey Leslie MUA, how's it going today? Um, yeah, like it was not. Oh, so maybe they're trying to join the two, like kind of figure out where those two intersect. I just don't know because I remember like Lino came back in that one, but he was young, and the rest of them were adults. But it's like, wait a minute, that makes no sense because like, yes, he was younger than the others, but he wasn't like decades younger than the others. Um, so I don't know, maybe like I don't know, maybe they're trying to do some sort of weird crossover. What do you guys think? Yeah, like I said, maybe they're trying to like fuse the two together, like play tricks on our minds. They're like, oh, these Gen Xers are old, they're not gonna remember. Um, you know. And they know that we're not gonna throw a fit about it. We're just gonna go research it and be like, ah, whatever, okay. Um, but yeah, then I did get some other really good polls, but like I said, some of these were not number ones. Um, this one, like, so those of you that know me, like those of you in the chat, I know Ando and Will and the Geek Gauntlet podcast know. Um, I I do get the Grimm fairy tale comic books. I think they're great, even though they are so much fan service, it's not even funny. But I had to make sure that I got the 2024 swimsuit edition of Grimm Fairy Tales because that's going to be amazing. Um, and I'm not going to lie, I like the way they do the fan service. The fan service is at least great costumes, right? I can't even be mad at it. I also had Cyberpunk. This is just a 4-issue series called Kickdown. But for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm not sure if you figured it out. Like, I kind of like Cyberpunk a little bit, just a little bit. Like, if you weren't able to tell by the background and maybe a few things here, I like Cyberpunk a little bit. So let me see here. And what was my other one? My other one is this comic called Barbaric. Actually, honestly, this might be right up your alley, Will. If you were going to get into a comic, this might be your comic. It is action-packed, and without giving too many spoilers away about it, essentially you have a barbarian who ends up with a cursed sword, a cursed axe, and the axe talks to him. And it talks so much trash. It is the most smack-talking axe you will ever come across in your life. But there's lots of great action sequences. The graphics are good, and like, oh, dude, the Axis smack talk is just amazing. It's very Conan-esque. So I said, it's up your alley, because you're the action guy. But yeah, the smack his axe talks to him is amazing. So like I said, if you were looking to maybe try out a comic, try something a little different, this would probably be a comic that you would really enjoy. Good story, and like I said, the smack talk is hilarious. So what's everybody else up to on this Wednesday night? Obviously I've got some comics, and I still have a few I need to read. We're gonna have to now that we've read Cheetara, now we have to go do research because things just don't make sense to us. What's everybody else up to? I'm missing my buddy Ty because, like, ooh, You got it replaced? Was it with another S or did they upgrade it? See, like, dude, I keep forgetting that tomorrow's a holiday. I know that sounds horrible, but I keep forgetting. Gotcha. So was it your hard drive that went out on it, or was it just need more space? Because I guess that's the one thing with the S. So like, don't mock me. My Xbox One Series S. Day before yesterday, I think the Xbox network went down. I don't know. Didn't happen to be a day when I was on it. But I did see it while I was doing other stuff. I was like, oh, Xbox network's down. Okay, I guess I'm not playing games tonight. Ooh, that's no bueno. So like my Series S, like I use it for my streaming primarily. Like if I want a game, I'm using my X or my Xbox One X because they have more space. Most game shops, I think, I mean, okay, so I can't talk to the game shops in your area, but I know the ones in our area, you have like a brief window where you can bring them back and like they'll swap it out, repair it, whatever needs to be done. So yeah, I'm trying to decide tonight if I'm gonna like, okay, 7 days, so that's not bad. Um, yeah, I'm trying to decide tonight if I'm gonna log on and play some more Stray. Um, I know it sounds funny, but it's like it's a super chill game, but it has this like it gets your mind going, but it's not like combat. Oh, gotcha. See, I don't. So even had you gone back like later, I would have disputed the holiday day because it's like if you guys aren't open, how can I come in? Well, good. Like yes, having a relaxing day is a pretty good thing. So like we are still in the middle of moving. Some of you are thinking, how much crap does this woman have that they're still moving? I got a lot of crap. Like, let's just, I'm not even gonna lie, I got a lot of crap. Um, and so like the AC guy came to check out what was going on with our AC. I got a couple other people coming out on Monday. No, not Monday. Friday, sorry, Friday. Um, to get me some more quotes on what it might cost to fix it. Um, and one AC guy is like, I don't think the first. Well, okay, let me phrase that. Two of the other people I've talked to about coming out and looking at the unit, um, after I've told them what it's doing, they're questioning whether what the first person told me was right or not. So that's kind of frustrating, but on the bright side, we do have a little bit of time to get it fixed. Like it's fortunately we're in the new house enough, but it is kind of slowing down my moving. So that's kind of a bummer. But, I'm still getting stuff done. I mean, it actually didn't get that hot in the house today. I was there till like 2 o'clock. And I was just packing stuff up because we've got movers coming later in the month to move like some of the big furniture. Because, well, let's start with the fact that I'm Gen X, so that means I'm old. I don't want to lift my heavy furniture. I'm gonna hire people. Me and my friends like no longer. Hey there, Mind of Sunshine. Me and my friends are no longer of the age where we can pick up and move furniture for beer and pizza. So we would just much rather, avoid all those extra aches and pains and hire the moving company. And that way, if the moving company screws up my stuff, they're insured. They can fix it and replace it. Where my friends, I have to like slowly take it out of their flesh. So, you know, but soon we should be almost entirely into the new place. It's a process. Moving is a process. I had forgotten how much of a process moving was. So yeah. What movie did you guys go see, Ando? La 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 la. While we figure out what movie Ando went and saw. What movie was it that I heard was already out in theaters that I did not think was out in theaters? Some movie. Oh, Beetlejuice. Yeah, I didn't know that was out yet until this morning. They were talking about like how it was doing at the box office, and I was like, oh, I didn't think that was in theaters yet. I thought that was going to come out more like in spooky season. You know. But apparently I was wrong. They're releasing it over the summer, which I feel that there's like a missed opportunity there. Like if you're going with Beetlejuice, which is obviously a spooky season movie, like why not release it like into September? That's close enough to spooky season. You know, don't release it when, you know, we're all trying not to like melt or get washed away in hurricanes. Speaking of, I wonder if they have an update as to what that hurricane's doing now. Because right now the big question is when it crosses Cancun, what direction is it going to go after that? Because the projections have it affecting part of the Gulf Coast, but Trinity today. No, it doesn't really have an update yet. So basically what they're saying is they know that it's going to weaken as it goes across Cancun. But the problem is they don't know at that point, once it gets into the Gulf, if it's going to then, you know, revitalize itself. Like, you know, the Gulf is going to be like its cup of coffee in the morning and it's going to come. I mean, that explains it, you know. The Lakers are there, you know. If they couldn't get a riot, then they're going to get a hurricane. Because let's face it, that's kind of the thing with Lakers fans. Like, if the team wins, they riot. If the team loses, they riot. So, you know, the Lakers just needed that chaos. So, like, hey, let's go to Cancun. And the Hurricane's like, hey, let's go see the Lakers. You know. Let's go see La Baby. At least that's what we call him in San Antonio. You know. I have a cramp because it's too hot. I said, bitch. Yeah, we call him La Baby. He doesn't like coming to San Antonio anymore. We make fun of him. Of course, we kind of make fun of everybody. Like, that's a San Antonio thing, I think. Like, if you're gonna, like, cry about something or be like, it's unfair, this was horrible, like, this city's trash. Hey, Bubba Whack, we are going to, like, mercilessly mock you. And, you know, I mean, it's kind of like the whole entire Charles Barkley thing. He makes a comment about the Riverwalk being dirty and women in San Antonio being fat. We ran with it. We ran with it to the point he doesn't even want to come back here. And we're like, bye. We are kind of bullies here. Not in like a bad way, like it's definitely a cultural thing. Like in San Antonio, if you're making fun of people like in a certain way, like at least they care enough to make fun of you. And it is a symbol of like love and respect if people are willing to make fun of you. Well, you know, we do have. Here's the thing. I get that TNT was like, bro, you gotta stop. But it could have also been because San Antonians we see like your insult and we're going to take it up a notch. Like we will own it and we will run with it. And there's not a whole lot you can really do about it. So really all it does is makes him look bad because we're all laughing at him about it and we're all cracking jokes back about it. So it would be different if it was the usual like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, blah blah blah. Nah, we're clapping back. Like, wait a minute, you telling us Charles Barkley can't handle can't handle a big girl? You know, yes. Like I said, one of these days, y'all gotta come. We'll make it happen at some point. Everyone comes down, and we'll get y'all real churros, like the fresh kind. Like you go and you order them, and you gotta wait for them to like fry them up. Hey there, lady. Um, and they're like literally like fresh, and you get like the ice cream and the toppings you want all right there. Those are the bomb. Like that. Those are churros. Like until you've had like legit fresh churros, like squeezed out of the bag into the grease just for you. You have not had a churro, my friend. Yeah, we have so much good food here. And we just got a Filipino bakery. I want to say it's called 36 degrees Celsius. Let me look. I haven't gone yet because I don't want to fight the crowds. That's kind of my deal. I don't like crowds. New bakery. San Antonio. Let's look. 85 degrees Celsius. Sorry. It's from Taiwan, not the Philippines. I just don't want to go stand in lines. I did the lines at Daiso, and if anybody is curious about what you can get for $100 at Daiso, you can go over to my YouTube channel. And I did a haul video there. I still haven't dug into my snacks. I need to do some of my live reacts to some of the snacks we got because I'm curious about the snacks, but I just haven't been like snack hungry. Like if I'm hungry, it's like, oh, I need to eat lunch or oh, it's dinner time. Not like, here, let me like grab my camera and film me like eating snacks and see what I think of them. I need to do that though, because I told people in my video I was gonna do it. And put them up as TikToks and shorts and reels. That way, people can just see my reaction. I mean, maybe things that I don't like are things that other people do like. I mean, or maybe things that I like are things that people are like, that sounds atrocious. And I'm like, it's fine. I like it. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to like it. I like it. That's all that matters. So yeah. And like, I'm still working on putting some of my stuff away. Like I've got my little washi tape holders here. Because I got a whole bunch of washi tape when I went in. Okay, not like a whole bunch, but I already had some washi tape. So getting that just kind of like compounded it. So I mean, I probably have like 15, 20 rolls of washi tape around the office. So these neat little things are going to help me straw them and organize it so it's not chaos. Although I'm kind of a little chaos monster. I really am. Like, right now, looking around my office, I know like it's a work in progress, but like there's so many little like pockets of chaos. Like there's some spots that are completely like neat, organized, put together, and there's other spots that's just like chaos. Little chaos dragons everywhere. So I have an office, a workspace, and a separate 3D printer room. I need lots of space because, like, prior conversation about why I'm still moving. This girl got a lot of crap. And I'm trying to downsize some of it as we move because, if there are things that we don't need, things that aren't serving a purpose for us, we'd rather have them go somewhere that they will get some good use, and can be appreciated by someone that isn't us, and it's not just creating clutter and chaos in our house. But some of that we may have to move some of that over here and kind of go through it as we get here and then make some of the trips back to Goodwill rather than doing it the other way around because I'm ready to be done with this. Like, moving's lame. moving is like so lame. Um, it had been a long time since since I'd done a move, so I guess maybe I like forgot about the chaos that moving is. Um, but yeah, this has just been it's been ridiculous. Um, so but yeah, eventually it's gonna be done. I hope. I keep telling myself it's eventually gonna be done. People tell me eventually like moving ends, but I'm like, I don't feel like it really is right now. But yeah, your girl has got a ton of stuff. Which was part of why we had to move is because I had more hobbies than I had space for my hobby stuff. So we knew that moving was kind of an inevitability soon. So, but we have been at this for like 40 minutes. And let me see here. Did I miss anything else? Oh yeah, like I probably outgrew the living space before I was willing to admit I'd outgrown that living space. Let me see here. Okay, making sure I didn't have anything that I had missed that was important. There we go. Yeah, like it was ridiculous. Like I was up unpacking, packing some of my craft room at my old house, and seeing how I had things just like packed and wedged like in all these little like nooks and crannies just to find a way to like store it all. And then I'm sitting here like looking at all these drawers and things that I have that I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna like, hey Scott Anthony, like I don't even know how I'm gonna get like this stuff put into all these drawers. Like there are drawers there and I need to organize them and I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet. Um, like it'll happen. It's just a matter of just like figuring out the semantics and sitting down with all this like tiny crap I have for like sewing and for my Cricut and some of my other stuff. There's just a lot of like small parts and I'm like, wow, like I actually have drawers I can put all of this into. I don't just have to like try and like make things fit like into all these little like nooks and crannies. Um so yeah, that's been kind of a weird, bizarre feeling. Um like a lot of my fabric here is much more organized than what it was over at the other place where I just had it in like totes and I'd have to like dig through it. Now like I've got it all up and I like have put them on like basically custom cut mini vaults of fabric. Um so that way I can like organize them onto a shelf. So if I'm looking for something, if I get an order through my Etsy shop, um I can just, and it requires a fabric. I don't have to dig anymore. I just go to my shelf, say, okay, it's in this color, and I have it all like broken down like color block. So it's like set up like a little rainbow. It's really, really pretty. Or at least as close to a rainbow as I can figure out, because sometimes when you have pattern fabric, it's not as cut and dry as, oh, this goes into this color. Um, but I at least can go and like look and be like, oh, there it is, and just take it out, cut what I need, um, stitch it all together, send it on its way. So, but yeah, we've been at this for like 40 minutes, guys. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call the live for today. I might do another live tomorrow. I'm not sure. I know it is 4th of July. It's the holiday. Um, I'm actually going to be at the other house for a while in the evening. Because I have to make sure my neighbors don't catch my yard on fire. So yeah, I'm just gonna do my little like my 4th of July PSA right now. Like everyone be really careful out there. Every year fire departments are inundated with calls for fires that are 100% preventable. If you are in an area that does allow fireworks, go to Home Depot, get yourself the $5 orange bucket, fill that bad boy with water. When you're done lighting off your fireworks, make sure you have someone who's designated to put them into that bucket and let them soak in water overnight. Um, I know last year in the city that I live in, um, there were several cases on the news where houses caught fire or almost caught fire because people dunked them in water and assumed that was enough to put the chemicals in fireworks out. And it isn't always the case if they're really hot. So if you let them sit in the bucket of water at least overnight and really, really soak that water in, it's going to prevent anything from reigniting before you throw it away. Because if any of that gets in with your trash and it takes the teeniest, tiniest of a spark inside a trash can to cause a really big fire. And that could be your home. Um, there were a few cases last year where police just happened to be patrolling and saw the garbage can on fire, and the police department called for the fire department, but they were able to also like get a garden hose that was nearby and start dousing the fire in the trash can and like the side of the house where the can was to prevent it from spreading. But we don't want that to happen. Also, like, always use firework safety. Keep an eye on your kids. Stray fireworks do happen. So like make sure you've got a garden hose nearby, first aid kit. Um, just because those accidents do happen, but do everything you can to try and, have a safe and happy 4th of July um, tomorrow. And like I said, I might stream tomorrow. If not, it might be Friday or Saturday because I probably need to get a second stream in here sometime this week. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night for today. As always, everybody, fly those geek flags high. Till next time.